Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? Now, that said, number one, I'm going to read this verbatim, and some of these, as we go, I will read verbatim, and some I'll just kind of like ad lib as I do. But I want to read this one verbatim because it's important. And I thought, are these in a particular order? No, not necessarily. They're kind of more bunched together, but this one felt to be the most true, even to this day. Looking at my life, looking how different it is. And again, this is just things that I have done. And so, if you are willing to do some of these things as well, you may find that your life is going to be different. Now, these are my firsthand experiences that I've kind of put into an amalgamation to hopefully give you some shifts or tools or understandings. Now, that said, as you go through this, you have to remember you and I, we are not the same person. We've lived very different lives. We talk to each other, talk to ourselves differently. We operate in the world differently. We show up differently. We're just not the same. And that's okay because not everything fits. I mean, there's mentors that I've had over the course of my life and my career where it's like, at some point we fit and some points that we don't. And so this isn't meant to be in any way one of those things where you're like, oh, I can't do all those things, so I can't get in alignment with this guy. It's about, can you take bits and pieces of all of this and see what fits and then put aside what doesn't? Because even for myself through this journey, some things just have not fit. So number one, and this is me writing this, I had to stop being a victim, even though it was totally justifiable. If you play the victim, then your life will reflect that. Bad things happen to good people. That is just truth. If you don't decide to change the way you think about yourself, then nothing will change. Being the victim is easy. Hell, it's even expected. And let me be clear, you have every right to be the victim, but you have to decide if that truly serves you. That's one of the most uncomfortable truths that I've ever faced in my life, is sitting in the reality that I was choosing to be a victim. And I know that's a weird thing to hear because so many people will say, how do you choose to get abused? How do you choose to be someone who's hurt and to go through mental health issues and suicide attempts and all those things? I didn't choose that. I'll be clear about that. I didn't choose the ramifications of those experiences, but I also didn't choose to go through healing, to be serious in therapy, to get a coach, to ask for help. And for me, playing a victim, was masterful in a sense because I had watched my mother be a victim and I'd watch her leverage that card in all aspects of our life. I watched my grandmother do that. I watched my uncle do it. I watched my stepfather do it. I watched my community do it. And so many people would sit around and blame everybody. And that in turn became my narrative. I blamed everybody but myself. I blamed the church, I blamed the school, my parents, community, the education, I blamed the government. And ultimately what it came down to is realizing a really important truth. You're just not culpable. And I've said this so many times, but I always have to come back to it because I don't think people really hold on to it. Like, you are not culpable for the bad things that happen to you. You're just not. But everything that you do in this moment and every moment forward is about deciding whether or not you want to move towards being the person that you know you're capable of being, or if you want to continue to be what everyone else told you you would be. Because when I was in that victim mentality, and again, I've talked about this stuff ad nauseum, but I want to go back through it because I think it's really important and it matters. One, to show you I get it. I've fucked up a lot in my life. And two, to show you that on the other side, your life can be vastly different. I was 350 pounds. I stuffed myself with food because it was an avoidance thing. It was, if I'm fat, if I'm big, then people will stay away from me. If I'm the biggest person in the room, then I don't have to worry about people ever trying to fight me, right? But the backside of that is people would make fun of me and laugh at me, and I would always be the fat kid in class. And then when I was an adult, I was always the fat guy, right? And I fucking hated it. And there's these pictures of me that I've shared online. I mean, growing up in the internet age, so much of my life from 16 is on the fucking internet, like everyone's. And so, you have 21 plus years of documentation of this party lifestyle, of the drugs, of the cigarettes, of the alcohol, of the hookups, of, the food. And so being in that mode, being this victim, I was like, well, fuck it, I'm already fat, so I'm just going to keep eating. And then when it came to the drinking and the smoking and the drugs, it was like, well, fuck it. I might as well. It doesn't matter. Why take care of myself? When it came to relationships, I was always measuring myself by the number of people that I could sleep with, as opposed to the really more important aspect of what I believe is humanity and what I have come to know to be true is, can you have bonded, connected, intimate relationships? And earlier when I'm in my teens and 20s, it wasn't hookup culture. Like I think that's one of those things that gets perpetrated in the world as this bad thing. And again, you figure out your own life, but my point is, for me, it was very experiential. Like I was like trying to figure out who I was physically, spiritually, sexually. And so it was like, I'm just going to go hook up with a bunch of people. Now, where it turned into the victim mode, and I'm going to be clear about this, was when I was in these places of putting myself in these possibly dangerous situations to hook up with people while having and being in relationships. And that came because what I thought was connection and community and call it even friendship or love was like, okay, if I hook up with these people, that means they care about me. And I came to discover like that's completely not true. And so as I'm sabotaging every relationship that I'm in, hurting people, breaking people's hearts, myself included in that, the thing that I came to realize was, oh, okay, wait a second. This is my doing. I put myself in this position and in this really kind of unfortunate experience of dating and relationships and intimacy because I was craving attention from people because I thought that if I could get it from other people that then I would have my cup full. And as you may know, that is not how the world works. You cannot get fulfillment from other people, no matter how much you want it. Now, you can have people pour into you, which is amazing, but your cup already has to be starting to be full. And mine wasn't. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go have sex with as many people as humanly possible while I'm getting drunk and eating all this food and not taking care of myself because maybe I will be able to shut down and stuff all the feelings.